Okay, I'm back. So we've got some cars to set out here in the City of Industry Yard for the LOS 29, I think, or the LOP 29. Turn this on. Hit it twice. Yeah, the LOS 29. The LOS 29 local works out of City of Industry Yard. And we're going to be setting our cars, the cars that are meant for the LOS 29, here in this yard. There's 2 yards to the City of Industry Yard. Actually 3, I guess you can say. This one here, and then these over here. This is the intermodel facility here. So, but this is where the cars for the locals get set out. Any pickups and any set outs. So looking to see here. I don't think, no, they're not. It's not. Our train is not in standing order. And what that means is when they're building a train in the yard or wherever they are building trains, sometimes, not always, they'll try to build the train in standing order. So, in other words, if this train were in standing order, all the cars for the LOS 29 would be right behind the locomotive. Right behind the locomotives. And any pickups, I would pick those up first. Well, it depends, really. You can pick your pickups. You can make your pickups first, and then do your set outs. And then sometimes it's better to do it in reverse. It all depends. So, I see this. My signal right here is a flashing yellow, or a restricting. We'll just turn that on. There we go. Okay. So anyhow, all the cars for the LOS 29 would be directly behind the locomotives, and then all the cars for the LOA 33R would be after the cars for the LOS 29. So it makes it easier to do your set outs and your pickups. So, but this train is not in standing order, and that's how the train was spawned. But it's not a problem. It's makes it a little more fun because you have to sort your train. So I gotta set these. I have to sort my. What I mean by that is I had to kick some cars and put the LOA 33 the LOA 33R cars on this track that I'm on now, and then kick the LOS 29 cars into the yard. So it looks like these Tropicana cars are for the LOS 29. So what I'll do, zoom ahead here. This is the LOS 29 right here. He's all ready to go. So that'll be another train that will be working here. And we got a lead right here, a fairly long lead. So what I'll do is I'll throw that switch for now. I'll work my way back to my train, checking to make sure that my switches are made up the way I want them to be, that I'm lined up and I'm not going against any switches or going the wrong way, such as onto the main line. Okay, we're looking pretty good. So we'll hop back in our train, turn off the emergency brake, turn on our headlight. And when I'm doing this sort of thing, when I'm on the road, I'll have the speed limit like it shows now. But when I'm doing switching, I'll change that to this. This is the train stats for my airline and what run I'm in, and if I'm in forward or reverse. So just makes it easier. So anyhow, here we go. And I gotta look to see trying to see where my switch is for my running lights. Oh well, we won't worry about that. Anyhow, so we'll move forward here. And once I pass this second turnout right here, I'll hit my distance counter, so I'll know when the tail end of my train goes past this switch right here. So there's my distance counter. It's counting from up to down, the length of my train. Give it a squirt of air here, about a 6-pound reduction. Come off the automatic or the train brake. There you go. That's why you don't want to. That's a Z train too. That's why you don't want to get in, be on the main line accidentally. Okay. There's our milepost 502. Here goes the tail end of that train, that Z train. Okay. We'll hop back to the rear of our train. Come over here. Okay, that switch is thrown the way I want. That switch is thrown the way I want. So we can tell her, come on back. Well, before I go, let's get our wings and see what track we want this stuff to go on. So okay. Now in single player, you can be in fly mode. By fly mode, this is what I mean by fly mode. And still be able to throw a switch. In multiplayer, at least the multiplayer community I work on, which is the depot, you have to be on the ground. You cannot be floating. So, just FYI. Okay. So generally when I'm doing switching, I usually like to be up in the air so I can keep an eye on things. And we're in reverse. Here we go. And this is one of the fun parts about Run 8. Hopping on the car and going for a ride. This is the first time I have ran the Anaheim Hauler in single player. In fact, first time ever, because they don't have the Anaheim Hauler that I know of in multiplayer, not at least not on the community I play in. They may now. I know they've made some changes, so but exactly what I don't remember. I don't recall. Now, unlike Microsoft Train Simulator, You don't have to worry about switches thrown underneath your train. This is a very robust simulation with, and I've said it before, a very steep learning curve, but once you start to master that learning curve, you're in for a whole lot of fun. Yeah, this is the Industry East Yard. I can turn those tags off now. I really don't need them. That whistling you hear is the EOT, end of train device, or FRED. Let the train settle down. I've only used the independent or locomotive brake, and that's why the train is moving back and forth. But once it settles down, I'll set the brake on this car. And it's on this end, the brake wheel. Okay, it's set down. It's settled down. I will get red zone from the head end. Making sure it's okay to get in between the cars, so I don't get run over, so that the train doesn't run over my big toe or something. And then I'll disconnect this, making sure my angle cock is closed first before I do that, and then I'll remove the EOT since we don't need it anymore. And then I'll walk my train. And what I'll do is I'll apply brakes on probably all these reefers here, and then stack the other cars that are meant for the LOS 29 against these cars here. These are empty reefers. The way you know a car is empty is if it's green, if there's destination tag or car number is green, it's empty. If it's red, it's loaded. If it's orange, it's a partially loaded. So here's LOS 29 here as well. Okay. So the next car, well, actually this car is for the LOS 29 as well. So we'll set the brake on it as well. Okay, I'll close that. I'll open the coupler. And give the okay to the head end. Railroads try to do things as efficiently as possible. They try. Doesn't always work out that way, but so we could pull away back out of that crossover, which takes some time. Hop off the car, or we can go all the way back through that crossover that we came through, and that takes quite a bit of time. Or we can just come back and stack our cars that are going with us to Los Nietos Yard right along here. So you may not want to do that in multiplayer, especially if there's someone else working in the yard. You don't want to be blocking their access. But since we're the only ones here now, so we'll come on back. What time is it getting to be? Uh-oh. So it looks like we got 1, 2, 3 cars that need to go off to the side over here. So that's what we'll do. Okay. Wait for my train to settle down. Okay. That car is going with us. This car is going with us. And this car is going with us. Okay. This yard here is on a decline from right to left. In other words, it's going downhill in that direction. And that's one of the reasons why right away I can open up my coupler. Some yards you have to bring in the slack so you can uncouple your cars. So because your train is stretched. So, but not the case here. So we are good to go. Our angle cock is closed. If you leave this angle cock open when you make an uncoupling, you'll set off the PTS, I think it is. You'll go into emergency is what'll happen, and then you'll have to rebuild your air, close the angle cock, rebuild your air, and whatnot. So best to not do that, and just remember to always close this before you make an uncoupling. Okay. So it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like 6 cars anyhow. Okay, coming on back. So we're essentially shoving up a grade now into this siding right here, or this track. So it takes a little more horsepower to get your cars up into this track here. Looks like they got a traffic jam up there on the freeway. I think we got about 6 cars here. So if I come off my power, I'll start losing speed pretty fast, which works to my advantage. If I was at a yard like Mojave, where I'm working on the north end of the yard, Mojave's on a decline from north to south, and boy, I gotta tell you, you gotta really be on your game when you're setting out or picking up cars in that yard. If you're picking up cars from the south end, not as bad, because you're working up a grade going north, but man, it could be quite the challenge. Weed's yard is like that too. Okay. Stretch them out. Okay. So this car, I'm not going to worry about making things up now, because they're going to be breaking these cars up when they go to set the cars up the way they want according to the industries. So we won't worry about that. We'll just walk our train to the next set of LO33R cars. It's getting to be late. Speed things up here a little bit. Now when I am done here, I'll go back over this cut of cars to make sure there's only LOS 29 cars on this track. No LOA 33R cars. So I've asked for red zone. I'm going to close the angle cock on this. Then I'm going to step back and ask the engineer, because you'll see under coupler actions when it says when open coupler is yellow, that means it will not release. You have to shove back a little bit against these cars here to put some slack in the coupler. So here it comes. Okay. Okay. I'm leaving my destination tags on because I'm looking to see what needs to be set out, what needs to be taken with me to Los Nietos. Okay. Now I'm going downhill now, so I'm not going to start losing speed. So I have to take that into consideration when I'm actually building speed and coming up to my switch. I have to take that into consideration because otherwise I blow past my switch and I'll come to a stop about a mile down the track. Okay, make sure I'm throwing the right way. I can't tell you how many times I did not check this A switch, wherever it was, after I threw it, to make sure it was lined for the direction I was wanting to go, and I ended up going the wrong way, or going the way I just came from. So it's always a good idea to check. Looks like we got 3 cars. Cut 3, so now we're going up a hill. So as soon as I come off my throttle, I'm going to start losing speed. So you got to kind of time it just right. I think we will be okay, I think. Let me take a flyover here. Okay. I got the red zone. Okay, I'll ask my engineer to come on back a little bit. Okay. Excuse me. Had the hiccups. This is one of the great things about Run 8. You can set up your railroad the way you want it. However prototypical or however unprototypical you want. It's your railroad. You could do what you want with it. So I have made some operational changes to fit my needs or what I'm wanting to do. It's a little different from how the depot does it, but that's okay. It's your railroad. You could do whatever you want. And I gotta say, Run 8 is an excellent way of getting to know what the railroads do and how they do it. Yank out the slack, give them a stretch. Okay, I think I only had one car. Yeah, I got cut of 3 cars for the LO33R, so now because I have set those, I don't know how many cars they were, 5 or 6 cars at the end of that cut right there, I set the brakes on them. I'm just stacking these cars against those any other cars that I have for the LOS29. I'm just stacking them against those cars I set the handbrakes on. Okay, bring him on back. It sure feels good to have those SD40-2s on the point. Some older power, but it's good to see them there. And I guess that's what they're essentially used for nowadays, is transfer jobs and locals. Don't see too many of them anymore. I mean, you do, but you don't. You don't see too many of them here in California, that is. Ah. Stretch them out. Okay, I'm not sure. That's for L33R, LOA33R, LOA33R. Okay. So we want to. Okay, release my handbrakes. This track right here is the one we want to be kicking our LOS 29 cars onto, so shove back further and do a flyby. Yeah, we're okay. We'll make it so this big blue CSX box car is right up there where the tank cars are now. So that way we'll have plenty of room to stack our cars against. Okay, that should be good enough. Okay, we'll come back here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. That should be plenty. Plenty enough. Just checking to make sure none of these cars are for the LOS 29. Okay. You don't have to do both couplers, but one is fine, really. Makes a heck of a racket. But that's how it is in real life. Trains make lots of noise. Here, look, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Looks like 6 cuts. 6 cars. Okay, bring them on back. Oh, got my independent on. And I do not work for the railroads. I do not work for the railroads. This is just my interpretation of how things get done from the years I've spent rail fanning and the things I've observed and studied and researched, and I've been rail fanning now since well over 50 years. Close to, well, actually 60 years. Back in about 1965 when I was just a little kid. My mom and dad used to take me down to LA Union Station to watch the trains, and that's probably where I got my affinity for trains. We used to go down to Alvera Street and have dinner at Alvera Street and then walk across the street to Union Station. And okay, it's the LS29, the LS29, the LS29, going down the line here. Sometimes you're in a yard with a whole bunch of cars and you're focusing on your cut, the cut that you're working on, and you have the destination tags up to read, but sometimes there's so many of them they're hard to read. Like this WCL CIBLU is from the cut of cars on the next track over to the left. So another way you can tell is just click on the side of the car and you look over here on their destination tag and it'll show you what that car is. So looks like we're okay. Close that. Ask the engineer to come back a little bit. And I'll hit my 33R, 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 33R. Okay, so we're done. Now when I make my joint here, I'll check to make sure that all I have is LOA 33R cars. Oh, a little hard there. Okay, stretch them out. Hit that one a little hard. Hope I didn't damage the cargo. Anyhow, so now I can go to each car and make each car up. Which, don't get me wrong, that's fun. Go to each car, connect the hose, or you can just hit F7, which is what I usually do. Yeah, I know it's not prototypical, but it saves a good deal of time. And besides, I figure the amount of time I take to make sure I got the right cars is the amount of time it would take to walk the train. Okay, we are good to go. I'll check my cars over here too. Make sure I don't have any LOA 33R cars in it. Yeah. I just received word the other day that I lost a good model railroading friend in a club I used to belong to in Bakersfield. So I just received more information about it. No service planned yet, but that will happen. So I'll close this, attach an EOT on it, then I'll open this, and there you have it. Now then, we'll cross back over onto this track here, and we'll zip down here real quick past the LOS 29 to this switch right here. Make sure we're all lined up. To go where we want to go. And we are good to this point right here. So okay. Okay, here we go. We are done here. Well, there was one other thing I wanted to check real quick. Wanted to check if I'm fouling this switch. No. Okay, I'm good. Okay. Couple toots to the horn, activate the bell, and we are out of here. And off to Los Nietos Yard we go. 15-mile-an-hour speed limit. So we're going to slow her down here. Actually, I allow for 20 miles an hour like the depot does for a restricted speed. Milepost 502. So Charlie really did pass away. Should be restricting. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, huh? Okay, we are on our way. We can actually do 20 or 55 now. We're out of the... So what I'll do now is I'll give this part back to the dispatcher. Oh, that's right, okay. Okay. Don't want to be going too fast because our crossover is coming up here, and the Los Nietos branch is coming up as well. We'll be doing a sneaky snake going through those crossovers and onto the Los Nietos branch. So keep our speed down. One thing to always remember: if you throw a mainline switch, make sure you throw it back to the way you found it. It should always be lined and locked for mainline operation, unless told otherwise. Mile 17. We'll be in Los Nietos Yard here not too long. Going up a 0.05% grade here. You see there in the upper left-hand corner. Thus our reason for slowing down. And I'm going to take my shoes off. And I do not know what that staple sounding sound is. If that's something that the developers added, or if that's an actual sound an SD40-2 makes inside the cab. It almost sounds like a paddle relay, but I don't think it's a paddle relay, because the SD40-2 line had all modular electronics, at least to my knowledge. I could be wrong. Leave your comments below. Now, if I remember right, that crossover that we're going to be crossing over onto get onto the Los Nietos branch, there's a freeway there. I'm not sure what freeway that is, or if it's even a freeway. But that should give us some heads up that we're approaching the Los Nietos branch. Yep. Yep. Milepost 15. Yellow over restricting, or diverging restricting. Milepost 14.3.
Shock, huh? Wow.
My wife's with me reading about my friend who passed. So apparently the body is with the coroner now, and will be for 7 to 10 days, at which time a service will be planned. His good friend was an employee of the Santa Fe Railroad. He was a conductor for the Santa Fe Railroad, and he had some of the best railroading stories that I've ever heard. You can literally sit glued to the chair. Milepost 14. You can sit and listen to Charlie for hours. Tell story after story. And they were all true stories because he lived it. Him and another gentleman named Bill Vaughn. He was a member of the Golden Empire Historical and Modeling Society as well, there in Bakersfield. And boy, Bill and Charlie could really tell some stories. We're going up a 0.1% grade now. So we are coming up the Los Nietos branch now. Just the other side of that bridge right there. You see the signal on our side for us. It's a red over flashing red. That's a restricting. Diverging restricting. The last one was an approach restricting. Now we're going a downhill grade of 0.31%. Milepost 13. Coming up to our crossover here. Just the other side of that bridge right there. And I have to be restricted speed, so I'm going to slow down here. Here's our crossover right there, and then the Los Nietos branch just to the left of the other track there. I'm in dynamics. I've got it set up. I don't have it in dynamics yet, in case I start picking up speed. Okay. Okay, I've given that crossover and the turnout, or that control point, actually, it's a whole control point, back to the dispatcher. So we are good to go. We are off the main line now, and gonna veer off to the left and head down to Los Nietos Yard in Anaheim. This is a fun train to run. This and the MWCAN, the West Colton to City of Industry train. That serves Weed Yard. I have it set up to serve Weed Yard, City of Industry, Weed Yard. Well, actually it doesn't. In the Depot Plus it serves City of Industry. In my world it doesn't serve City of Industry. It might pick up some cars, but it serves Weeds and the old SPJ Yard. Now this line, the Los Nietos branch, it crosses the BNSF Transcon line twice. So you got to kind of be on your game. I think we'll only cross it once. Okay, we have an approach, as you see. Milepost 001, 00.1. But this was UP's line that went down to Anaheim. And I think it actually connected up to the SP line just before Anaheim, maybe in Santa Ana. Approach. Milepost 001.1, I mean. But it had this line, and then it had its San Pedro branch, which got the UP down to the harbor. And that's all changed so much now that I'm not really sure how things work now. The SP line that went down to Anaheim came out, I believe, came out of the old SPJ yard there in downtown LA. But that has since been rearranged since they put in the Alameda Corridor, or the trench. If you look on Google Maps, you can see where it went at one time, where going south it veered left and started heading east towards Anaheim, but it's not there anymore. So I'm not really sure. And leave your comments below if you know, but I don't know if the UP uses the Los Nietos branch to get down to Anaheim, because Anaheim's still a happening concern, as far as I know. Some years ago, I was going, I don't recall, I was going, but I was on the 5 freeway, and right there where the SP Anaheim branch paralleled the freeway, it looked like they had it all tore up. And I don't know if that's because they were for the freeway, widening of the freeway, because they've done a lot of work on the freeway in through there, or if they were taking the Anaheim branch out, abandoning it. But if you look on Google Maps again, it's still there, and I think it's still a going concern. I'm just not sure how the UP accesses that. That's old UP now. It used to be old SP, but now it's been UP since 1996. So Now that bridge that you see up there, that's right where the Transcon, the BNSF Transcon, goes underneath the freeway. I think the 5 freeway, I think, or the 60. And we'll have, I had an approach back there, so I'm sure we'll have a red light up here. There you go, that signal tower right there. That's the BNSF Transcon line. There's a train going through there now. Yep, there he is. Okay, 25 mile an hour. Ain't no passenger trains that I know of uses this line, but I could be wrong. That sign back there said passenger 30, freight 25. And yes, this signal will go green when it's okay to move, but until then, we can't do anything. So that just means more traffic is coming. Old Otto, the automatic dispatcher, he does a pretty darn good job. Once in a while I have to step in and help clear some bottlenecks up, but overall Otto does a pretty fantastic job. At least I'm happy with what it does, the automatic dispatcher. Sometimes the dispatcher's a little cranky. I got on one day last week and had not asked the dispatcher of anything, asked him for a signal, and he jumped all over me. I just figured he was having a bad day. So that same day I was running the Barlac from Barstow to LA, and I must have tripped about 4 or 5 defect detectors. So then I got my butt chewed out by the dispatcher. It's kind of funny. It's really neat when you have this kind of situation and you don't go to the dispatcher screen to see what's going on. You just sit and wait like we're doing here, and all of a sudden a train goes by. Because that signal, if I had an all clear, it would be, I would either have an approach or a green light. But with it being red, it just tells me something else is coming. Now I can go into the dispatcher screen and see what it looks like, and if I feel I have enough time, I can step in and give myself a restricting on that signal. But it's just fun doing it this way. We can go to the dispatcher screen. We're right on the dispatcher screen. We're right here. And yes, we have a Z train coming. And he's almost right on top of us. And we have a stack train coming as well. So... oh, I'm sorry. That Z train's going the other direction. That was the one that just went by us. Where we're at now. So he's not even in La Mirada yet. So I could give myself and we can scoot across the Transcon real quick here. He'll be coming from our left here. Now, if that train was too close, the simulation would not allow me to make this a restricting. It would remain a solid red, or what they call a hard red. Okay, got a speed limit of 25 due to be reduced to 15 and a half a mile. So we've crossed over the Transcon line now. We're out of the way. So Los Nietos Yard is in that, not the second switch. Okay. Throw this switch. Going to get my wings. Well, that could be rather interesting. Tell you what we'll do. Yeah, we'll yeah. Should be enough. Okay. Okay. 15-mile-an-hour speed limit. Yeah, will fit no problem. This is Los Nietos Yard. Okay, let me hop out here. Get my wings. Go back. Throw this switch back the way I found it. Okay, now then I'll come over here. We have arrived at Los Nietos Yard. So, oops, I forgot to put a whoosen. I thought I put a whoosen on there. It popped off. Oh well. I believe I put one on. Anyhow, no worries. So we are done here. I can set the train brake, or the parking brake.
CNSF detector, milepost 154.3, main 3, ambient temperature 73 degrees.
Close that. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Now we can either well, that's the Transcon. That's that stack train that we were waiting for originally. Okay. I can do one of three things. I can take this power and run it off the end of the line there, keep it moving forward, and run it off the end of the line like it's going to Anaheim. Or I can just delete it right here and now. Or I can just leave it here. And so when I get enough cars that need to go back to West Colton, I'll already have power here. And so I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll just run it forward. Just run it nose to nose with the local power. So we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cars. Makes for a nice local. Now I can change this. I can bring another train down for Los Nietos Yard with some ES44s or SD78s, and that train will be a lot longer. So but it's my choice. I can do whatever I want. That's what's so great about this simulator. Okay. Set the parking brake, turn off the headlights. Turn off the power. Turn off the step lights. And I will relinquish. Okay, well, that about does it for the Anaheim Hauler. We're here in Los Nietos. Now all I need to do is when I have a chance, unless I get busy doing something else, is hook this local power up to these cars, sort them the way I want them sorted for the industries that these cars will be going to, and then go to work. This is the power for the LOA 33R. So that should do it for now. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you get something from this. Hope it's helped somebody. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye now.